So we're here at the GigaOM Roadmap. So who are you?
I'm Danae Ringelmann. I'm one of the founders of Indiegogo and our Chief Customer Officer.
So Indiegogo, how big is Indiegogo right now?
Very big. Indiegogo is now the largest global crowdfunding platform. We're in every country of the world. And at any given time, we have around 7,000 campaigns that are running. But we've launched over 150,000 campaigns since our start in 2008. And we're distributing millions of dollars every single week to campaign owners all across the world, including everybody from entrepreneurs like hardware designers to musicians and other artists to causes and activists all across the world.
So are you bigger than Kickstarter?
Well, we definitely are the largest global platform in terms of campaigns that have run on our platform since the beginning, and we're definitely growing fast, but we don't disclose our specific numbers.
So what's the biggest challenge right now? Because the crowdfunding space is huge.
It is
and
huge.
it's such a big news. It's such a big deal, right?
It's huge. It's growing very quickly. It's being used both as a way to raise money, especially for entrepreneurs who maybe are locked out of traditional finance. They can't get a loan, can't get venture capitalists to call them back, etc. It's also being used, though, as an incredible market validation and market testing platform as well. So even entrepreneurs that have venture backing are now turning to Indiegogo to get quote-unquote smarter, faster, as Sunny Vu likes to say, who actually raised almost $900,000 on Indiegogo for his Misfit Shine. He had actually had the backing, but still used Indiegogo to really test his pricing, test the colors, test the features. He discovered new accessories, all because he could use the Indiegogo framework to swap perks in and out throughout the campaign, use the flexibility that we offer to really understand what his funders wanted, his customers wanted, and then so he could launch a product that was really honed in on his market after the campaign.
So this is like the dream now of many people, is to launch an Indiegogo campaign and make how there's no limit, like you don't have any selection or anything, anybody can start a...
Well, the difference about Indiegogo is that we are open, so there's no application process, there's no waiting, there's no asking for permission. The last thing we wanted to do was build a platform where you had to go through a gatekeeper. The whole reason Indiegogo started was to eliminate the gatekeeper, create an equal opportunity platform for anyone to get going. That said, not everyone will be equally successful, but success will be based on how hard you're willing to work and how much your audience cares, which in our belief system, we think are the only two factors that matter. You happening to know a venture capitalist or a guy who can write a check shouldn't be a criteria for success. But what we're now seeing is people are using Indiegogo as a way to get traction, get their ideas off the ground, and attract that traditional investment. So what we'll see is like a hybrid approach that entrepreneurs start to take, where they use Indiegogo to get traditional investors to notice them, and vice versa.
So how do people find the cool campaigns? Is there a lot of stuff going on in your search and algorithm, and do you place cool projects higher somehow, or? Yeah,
another thing that's unique about Indiegogo is that we're merit-based, and so we have developed an algorithm called the GoGo Factor, which is similar to Google's PageRank algorithm, where the harder you work, and the more your audience is engaged, the higher your GoGo Factor, and the higher your GoGo Factor, the higher the promotion and placement on our site. So we basically reward hard work. We reward you doing the right actions that will help you raise the most money. So that's how we've done it. But we do a lot of personalization on top of that, and we're going to continue to do more and more to help funders discover campaigns that are specific and relevant for them.
Can you describe a little bit more what goes into doing more work? Is it just writing more description text? Is it keeping people updated?
What goes into the GoGo Factor are all the actions you should be taking anyways to raise money. So that's reaching out to your audience, identifying them, engaging with them, having them engage with their fellow friends or other lovers of your idea. It's basically taking all the right steps to really engage your crowd, to really unleash them and help them be part of your team. We always like to tell people, and campaigners specifically, treat your funders like your team. They're on your team, they're helping you build your audience. The way Indiegogo helps you raise more money than otherwise possible is we add 2 layers of amplification on top of the work you're already doing. The first layer of amplification comes from the social media integration that would integrate into the experience. For example, when somebody funds you, they're prompted to tweet you out and post on Facebook, thereby them bringing their friends and family into your network to fund. And the third level of amplification is the GoGo Factor amplification, where we turn on PR, you end up on our homepage, all that stuff. But all that comes in a merit-based way, so it's up to the campaigners to do it. But that's incredibly empowering because now the power for success and the path to success is completely in your hands. It's completely in your hands, in the hands of your customers. And that's why it's an incredible market testing and market validation platform as well as a funding platform.
So I think it's totally awesome to enable crowdfunding, but I guess it's also a tricky situation where there's a terms and conditions kind of, I mean, some project gets money months before they can ship, hopefully ship, right? Do they all ship, or how does that work?
Well, the beauty of being an open platform is that we don't decide who has the right to raise money and who doesn't. It's truly open. And therefore, when funders are funding on Indiegogo, they know that it's a market validation platform too. And so we've created a communication system where funders, especially if you don't know the campaign owner specifically, you can still ask questions and really get all your questions answered before you do decide to fund. But ultimately, it's a funding experience, not a buying experience. And that's why we do a lot to empower the campaign owners to do lots of updates. We provide both the functionality as well as the education around how to do updates. We know, for example, campaigns that do 3 to 5 updates raise on average, I think, 250% more than campaigns that do less than 2 updates. Updates are a really great way to keep your funders engaged as to the progress of your campaign, as well as your projects. Even after the campaign ends, you should still use the updates because that's a way to keep your funders, which again are your teammates, involved and up to date on everything going on, so that if there is a delay of some kind, that they know why it's happening and that they've been brought all along, so that they don't have bigger question marks.
Have you announced how much has been funded thus far? How many millions of dollars? Or
we haven't announced those numbers yet, but I am sharing that we are distributing millions of dollars, several millions of dollars every single week all across the world to every country.
That sounds huge.
It is.
But now that
and specifically in hardware, we've grown 1,000% just in the last year for hardware campaigns. So the hardware and design technology is blowing up on Indiegogo, and I think the reason being is because of our really flexible approach to crowdfunding, our open approach. So we not only don't pick and choose projects on our site, we totally are open to empowering everybody, but we also create a very flexible way to raise money. So for example, we offer both flexible funding and fixed funding. Campaign owners pick which one is better for them. The flexible funding approach is you get your money whether or not you reach your target funding goal, and fixed funding is you get your money only if you reach your target goal. Across crowdfunding, most campaigns don't raise 100% of their budgets all at once. We actually don't encourage that. So don't think you have to do that if you're trying to test crowdfunding. Just raise the amount of money that you know you need to move the project forward. And because of that, we're seeing that flexible is by far the more popular funding approach. That said, fixed is always good for campaigns that know they need a minimum amount of money to actually move their project forward. So with that, there's flexibility. There's also a ton of flexibility in the perks infrastructure. So for example, you can swap perks in and out throughout the campaign. That allows you to test pricing. It allows you to test features, colors, attributes, all kinds of things. The Misfit Shine, for example, they kept adding perks throughout the campaign and learned that people were willing to pay $50 more for the black version of their Shine over the silver version. And then when the funders said we want accessories like bracelets and necklace, they said, well, let's put you to the test. They threw a perk mid-campaign for a necklace. It got claimed out. So they clearly discovered a new accessory or a new revenue stream that they never knew they had. So I think the reason why hardware designers all across the world are truly embracing Indiegogo is because of our open approach and our flexible approach, where you can actually market test your product and your features during the campaign. You don't have to launch a fixed campaign that can't change at all. You can change stuff throughout the campaign to really learn what your funders want and what your customers want, which then sets you up for success when it's time to launch the real deal.
Is it correct of me to kind of have this first impression of fixed campaigns when it's hardware? I can more trust them a little bit more because if they have a flexible campaign and let's say they want $1 million but they only get a few thousand, they still get those few thousand, they might not be able to deliver anything, right?
Well, that's why in flex funding you always offer perks that you can deliver on regardless of how much you raise. But I think you have a bit of a misconception there when you think you can trust a fixed campaign more. Again, it goes back to the fact that most fixed campaigns, even on no matter what site you're on, including Indiegogo, you're not raising 100% of your budget for the whole project. You're only raising a certain chunk of money to move the project forward. And we actually encourage that because if you do it and move it forward, then you can come back and do another campaign later to really blow it up and keep doing it until you get there, or you use your 1 or 2 campaigns on Indiegogo to help validate your idea and then attract traditional investment like venture capital or angel money in. So I think it's a bit of a fallacy that you pointed out that you can feel more confident with a fixed campaign. That said, with both fixed and flexible, what we encourage campaign owners to do is say, look, if you raise X amount, how would you spend that money? If you raised Y amount, how much would you spend that money? So what would you do with the money in a campaign where you don't reach your goal, and what would you do with the money if you raise multiples of your goal? So if you break that out and transparently share how you spend the money, you're empowering the funders to make the decision. The transparency will help them make the decision, and you should be successful.
So even the flexible, when there are perks, and if people buy many few than what they had hoped, they still have to deliver or refund, right?
Well, we don't. In flexible, you get the money whether you reach your goal or not. So what you do is you offer perks that you could deliver on even if you didn't reach your goal. So that could be thank you notes, it could be Twitter shout outs, it could be names on websites, stuff that doesn't cost you anything. It maybe costs you some time. It maybe offer experiences and stuff like that. But if you do know that you need a minimum amount of money to move the project forward, then we do recommend the fixed project. And then in that case, you can also offer perks that are finite and cost money that you will only have to deliver on if you reached your goal. So, but again, it's rarely do you ever set your goal to be 100% of your funding need. And if people kind of say that that's the way crowdfunding works, then they're not right.
And Obama and the whole administration and the politics are talking about changing things that would enable you to do even more stuff, I guess, in the future, or just enable what you already do to do more of that?
Yeah, so recently, or last year, President Obama signed the Jobs Act, which was exciting because the whole movement to get that to happen started on Indiegogo with a campaign to change crowdfunding law. A couple folks went on Indiegogo to raise $1,000 to pay a lawyer to write a petition to change crowdfunding law such that people could offer equity on platforms like Indiegogo in addition to perks, equity being ownership stakes or any kind of profit or upside. Because at the time it was illegal to offer any kind of upside. So now with the Jobs Act, it's been launched and the SEC is moving forward with it, and we're in this period of getting feedback on it. But it's exciting because Indiegogo is very much excited about it. We were there with President Obama when he signed the act. Our customer was up on stage with him. Indiegogo is all about empowering people to fund what matters to them, whatever that is, however that is. So if they want to fund it via equity, then they should be able to do that too.
So you might not have announced it, but it would be awesome to have Indiegogo with investments, micro investments.
So we're leaning forward and we're looking into all of this. Nothing to announce right now.
Cool. Okay. Looking forward to billions of dollars per week. Okay.
It's all coming. We're changing finance for good, both permanently and for the better. So
worldwide.
Look forward, worldwide.
And anybody can get paid in any bank account worldwide.
All you need is a bank account to get started on Indiegogo. It's very simple. We did that very intentionally so that anybody, anywhere in the world, could raise money for whatever they're passionate about, no matter who they knew or didn't know. We've believed everybody has a right to go after their dreams, and so that's why Indiegogo built an equal opportunity for anyone to go after their dreams.
Just one last one. So there's an 8% fee, right?
4.
For
a 4% fee.
You take 4%. So I thought it was 8. So that's Kickstarter takes 8.
Well, Indiegogo takes 4% funds raised when you meet your goal, whether you're fixed funding or flexible funding. In the fixed model, if you don't reach your goal, the money goes back to your funders and there's no fees whatsoever. And in the flex model, if you don't reach your goal, the fee is 9%. But it's funny, when we introduced that kind of tiered pricing, 4%, 9%, we actually found that charging a higher fee, it helped people raise more money. It meets their goals more. So it actually helped convert more success in that regard. But yes, we have both models. Both are 4% when you reach your goal, and then there's processing fees of 2 to 3% for the credit card companies on top of that.
So it's like 7% all, 6.9% or
6
something.
to 7% when you reach your goal. Yeah.
Okay, and what's it called?
Half of it goes, or almost half of it goes to the credit card processing.
Do you provide some kind of warranty system or something in those 4%? What other services do people get in there?
Amplification. So you will raise more money on Indiegogo than you ever could on your own by putting up your own website and a PayPal button, because we offer the amplification from the social media integration that we do, where we prompt your own funders to share it with everybody they do, plus the GoGo Factor promotion that we do, which is PR, just being on our global ecosystem, the recommendation engine stuff you do, that your campaign gets promoted to other funders across the global ecosystem of campaigns that we have. So people raise far more than 4% extra when they use Indiegogo, and so it more than pays for